Chicken pox, also known as varicella, is a highly contagious disease caused by the initial infection of the varicella zoster virus. The disease results in a characteristic skin rash that forms small itchy blisters which eventually scab over. The early symptoms in adolescents and adults are nausea, loss of appetite, aching muscles, and headache. This is followed by the characteristic rash or oral sores, general discomfort, and a low-grade fever that signal the presence of the disease. The rash begins as small red dots, progressing over 10 to 12 hours into small bumps, blisters, and pustules, followed by the formation of scabs. The blister stage usually involves intense itching. These symptoms of chickenpox appear 10 to 21 days after exposure to a contagious person. The infected person becomes contagious 1 to 2 days before you start to see the effects of the disease. Chickenpox is rarely fatal, although it is generally more severe in adult men than in women or children. Chickenpox in pregnant women can cause a variety of problems to the fetus. These effects to the fetus can range in severity from underdeveloped toes and fingers to severe anal and bladder malformation. Other effects can include damage to the brain, damage to the eyes, neurological disorders, damage to the body, and skin disorders. The spread of chickenpox can be prevented by isolating affected individuals. Contagion is by exposure to respiratory droplets or direct contact with lesions within a period lasting from 3 days before the onset of the rash to 4 days after the onset of the rash. The chickenpox virus is susceptible to disinfectants, notably chlorine bleach. Like all enveloped viruses, it is sensitive to drying, heat, and detergents. Treatment mainly consists of easing the symptoms. Cutting the nails short or wearing gloves may prevent scratching. It is important to maintain good hygiene and daily cleaning of skin with warm water to avoid secondary bacterial infection. Paracetamol, but not aspirin, may be used to reduce fever. Aspirin use by someone with chickenpox may cause serious, sometimes fatal, disease of the liver and brain called Rey syndrome. Antihistamines relieve itching and may be used in cases where the itching prevents sleep, as they are also a sedative. A varicella vaccine was developed by Michiaki Takahashi and his colleagues in Japan in the early 1970s. The vaccine is recommended in many countries, some of which require the vaccine or an exemption before entering elementary school. A second dose is recommended 5 years after initial immunization. A vaccinated person is likely to have a milder case of chickenpox if they become infected. Being exposed to chickenpox as an adult boosts immunity to shingles. Shingles are a painful rash caused by the reactivation of the varicella zoster virus, which can last for months or even years. When children are vaccinated against chickenpox, they lose this natural boosting, so immunity in adults will drop and more shingles cases will occur. In some countries, such as the UK, the vaccine is only recommended in people who are particularly vulnerable to chickenpox. This is to keep the virus in circulation, thereby exposing the population to the virus at an early age, when it is less harmful, and to reduce the occurrence of shingles in those who have already had chickenpox by repeated exposure to the virus later in life. How the term chickenpox originated is not clear, but it may be due to it being a relatively mild disease. It has been said to be derived from chickpeas, based on resemblance of the vesicles to chickpeas, or to come from the rash resembling chickenpox. Other suggestions include the designation chicken for a child, a corruption of itching pox, or the idea that the disease may have originated in chickens. Some parents deliberately expose their child to the virus, for example, by taking them to chickenpox parties. Doctors counter that children are safer getting the vaccine, which is a weakened form of the virus, rather than getting the disease, which can be fatal.